Good afternoon. Today we are going to present our project, Mallaca's Legacy, the Stadthuys. Our team have 4 members. I'm Kenna, and we'll have Bunga, Yixuan, and AL. 2 of us come from China, and another 2 come from Indonesia. For starters, I will introduce the building, which is a symbol of Mallaca's colonial heritage. This building in 1650 by the Dutch East India Company after they defeated the Portugal force. And the construction of this building marked the end of 130 years of Portuguese rule and the beginning of 160 plus years of Dutch influence, and also represents a significant change in colonial power dynamics in Southeast Asia. And as you can see from the picture on the slide, the Stadthuys has distinctive red exteriors. That is why people commonly called it Red House. It was built with thick brick walls and installed shuttered windows and sturdy wooden doors. And the function of this building has evolved over the centuries. It was used as an administrative headquarters during Dutch times. And when Britain took over, it continued serving as an administrative function. But now it's a tourist attraction and formed a key component of Mallaca's World Heritage Site.
From visiting the statue in Mallaca, we learn 2 important values. The first thing is respect different country. By visiting the statue in Mallaca, we deeply feel the importance of country respect. Malaysia is a social where multiple ethnic groups can exist. We have learned to understand the different religions' beliefs, dress habits, and historical memories. And the second is cultivate creative thinking. In the exhibition, we found that history is not neutral. It may overlook certain look worse. This makes us more aware of history and help us think about who is telling the story and who is left out. And the next part is acquired skills. The first skill is information integration ability. It has the ability of information integration and analysis by collecting and organizing historical materials of the statues. And the second ability is teamwork ability. The team member has clever division of the labor, collaborate to complete the project, and it has the team's completion ability.
And following that, I want to compare Stadthuys Museum with 2 Chinese national museums and 2 regional museums in terms of their architectural connection, function, etc. We will have Paris Museum, National Museum, Shanxi, and Nanjing Museum. For the first aspect, we will compare its architectural design and connections. The Imperial Museum, also called the Forbidden City, is built in Ming Dynasty with golden yellow tiles and crimson walls, and it chiefly holds imperial artifacts from royal family, while the National Museum was built in New Chinese era with 10 pillars in the front. It looks like a horizontally enlarged box. Its storage spans across 5,000 years of Chinese civilization. By contrast, the Shanxi Museum is located in the ancient capital of Tang Dynasty, so it's also designed in Tang style. And it stores the artifacts of 3 ancient dynasties, Qin, Han, and Tang. Well, Nanjing Museum combines Chinese traditional style and Western architectural style. It hosts the regional treasures. As for its functional involvement, the Paris Museum and National Museum are quite similar to the Stadthuys. They had an administrative function before and then transformed to holding valuable goods. The Shanxi Museum and the Nanjing Museum were designed to preserve ancient artifacts on purpose. They are modern constructions. For the next aspect, I will invite Yixuan to present.
I want to talk about how different museums reflect religions and the country, besides on what we see in this part. Let's start with the Stadthuys Museum. It actually has limited religious influence in exhibition. The building is more colonial, and the neighbor church supports the historical context, but the religion is not main focus. In contrast, Chinese museums include more religious elements. The Place Museum combines Confucian, Buddhist, and door symbols. The National Museum of China, which focuses more on secular history, still reflects country means in a more national, modern perspective. Shanxi and Nanjing Museum also present many religious artifacts, especially from the Tang Dynasty. Next, let's look at tourism development strategies. The Stadthuys Museum is part of Mallaca UNESCO World Heritage Site. It closely linked to the local country, like integrate with local tourism country. It also serves as a country exchange hub from visitors from different backgrounds. In China, museums often work on a much larger scale. The Place Museum, for example, the world famous and using a strat-int system to manage large tourists. The National Museum of China focuses on education and shows Chinese country on a national level. Shanxi and Nanjing Museum are also popular, show rich history and supporting both learning and tourism. And the next, let's welcome our group from Indonesia to share their thinking.
Hello, my name is Bunga. I want to present about Indonesian students' perspective comparison, Indonesia historical buildings versus Stadthuys. A comparison between the Museum Fathahillah or Kota Tua Jakarta and the Stadthuys Mallaca. Regarding the Dutch colonial heritage, it is not only in Mallaca, Malaysia. However, in Indonesia there are also historical Dutch colonial heritage, namely Kota Tua Jakarta or Fathahillah Museum. Kota Tua Jakarta is a tourist attraction that has historical value that is very important for the city of Jakarta. There are also old buildings from the Dutch colonialism which are currently used as museum, namely Jakarta History Museum or Fathahillah Museum. Comparison the Museum Fathahillah, Kota Tua Jakarta and the Stadthuys. From the category year built, Museum Fathahillah Jakarta is constructed in 1707, inaugurated in 1710. Meanwhile, Stadthuys is built in 1650 after Dutch captured Mallaca from the Portuguese. From the category of original function, Museum Fathahillah Jakarta is a Batavia City Hall, administrative center, courts, religious and social events. Meanwhile, Stadthuys is a residence of Dutch governor and administrative headquarters. From the category of current function, Museum Fathahillah Jakarta is a Jakarta History Museum since 1974, showcasing the city's history. Meanwhile, Stadthuys History and Ethnography Museum of Mallaca, covering colonial and local heritage. From the category architectural style, Museum Fathahillah Jakarta is Dutch Baroque, symmetrical layout, timber beams, gabled roofs. Meanwhile, Stadthuys is Dutch colonial, thick red painted walls, stone staircases, and wooden window. About category historical significance, Museum Fathahillah Jakarta is a highlights transformation of Batavia to Jakarta, Dutch colonial governance and city development. Meanwhile, Stadthuys represents Dutch control in Southeast Asia, influence of Malacca's urban development. From the category of museum collections, Museum Fathahillah Jakarta is artifacts, paintings, maps, original and replica relics from the pre-colonial to modern Jakarta. Meanwhile, Stadthuys is costumes, traditional tools, historical documents, and lifestyle items from Dutch and Malay communities. And now, how does visiting the Stadthuys help us adapt to the cultural environment of Malaysia? First, understand the coexistence mode of social structure and culture. Through the display in the Stadthuys, we have a direct understanding that Malaysia is a society composed of multiple ethnic groups such as Malays, Chinese, and Indians. Each ethnic group has its unique contribution and identity in history. Second, enhance cultural sensitivity and adaptability. As a historical space where diverse cultures converge, the Stadthuys enables us to learn to understand the cultural logic behind behaviors from a local perspective and to deal with differences and communication more calmly in campus and community life.
Thank you for the time. Next presentation is about culture and value from the Museum Fathahillah after knowing the similarities and differences with the Stadthuys. In my opinion, after knowing the similarities and differences, we can enhance the emotional bonding for present or future generation concerning this historical building. And next is, with the existence of this museum, it will give more knowledge to the present generation about how the building was before. And the third is about the current generation will feel the sense of the building and they would attach the information into their mind and would tell to the generation and on to the future generation and so on. Next is about the changes in feelings before and after the activity. Feelings before the visit. At first, we regarded this visit to the Stadthuys as a relaxing travel activity, similar to one-day tour of the city nature. Our impression of the Stadthuys mainly come from internet or social media, and we think it's a popular spot for taking photos. And although it is known to be a historical place, there is a lack of genuine understanding and attention to its historical depth and cultural significance. And after visit the place, after the visit, our perception of the Stadthuys changes because we discover that it's not only a colonial site but also the core space of Mallaca. And we are aware that the exhibition content present in the Stadthuys construct the special politic of national identity, ethnic relation, and historical memory. And this visit has enabled us to deeply understand that merely looking at history is not enough, because only through personal experience and critical reflection can we truly touch the intrinsic value of culture heritage. And last is the conclusion from this activity are, the first is visiting and learning bring about a deep understanding because the Stadthuys is not merely a museum. It is also a classroom for us to understand the Malaysia diverse history, ethnic interaction, and the construction of national identity. And the cross-cultural learning is the beginning of stepping out of the comfort zone and into the world of others. Through the comparison of cultural heritage in China, Indonesia, and Malaysia, the group member cultivate their cooperative communication skill. I think enough from us. Thank you for your attention.